Guys, good morning. Thanks for tuning in with me at Fat Pack Garage. Hey, we got another one for you guys. As you can see, we got the car back up in there. What the heck is going on, right? I'm gonna show you. That's right, getting ready to do some Flex Fuel E85 install. So you're not gonna want to miss this one. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and let's get it going. Check it out, E85 Flex Fuel sensor. Got the whole kit here. So I reached out, got a little something special from Motion Raceworks here. All right, we're gonna go through all of this stuff. I'm gonna show you guys how to put it together. Got my GM Flex Fuel sensor here. All right, part numbers and everything is laid out. Feel free, take notes. This is the one that I ordered from Motion Raceworks. I also ordered it with the Fragola fittings, that's -8 line, and we also have the end fittings that come with it as well. I think you have to add that separate. That's added on. So, and last but definitely not least, joltsystems.net. They have a very nice harness here that adapts to our Terminator X system. So, all right, y'all, so before we get into this review of these parts here, right, in this Flex Fuel sensor, tell you a few things about E85 first. All right, E85 is, they call it that because it's 85% ethanol and 15% gas. All right, over time the ethanol content of the fuel can change. It can go up, it can go down, it can be 55, it can be 60, whatever it feels like that day, however much you dilute it, basically, right? It varies over time. This sensor allows us to be able to determine how much ethanol is actually in our fuel. Now your next question is, why do I want to have ethanol or E85 as my fuel, right? So for one, it's equivalent to 105 plus octane. So I won't need to run an octane booster as much, right? So some will even say that's about 116 octane equivalent. Like I said, the 85 content, the ethanol content, it varies over time. So as long as it's over 105, you pretty much good to go, right? It's very good for boosted setups. It actually works for all setups, but it's very good for boosted setups. And the reason why is because it burns cooler, has cooler combustion temps, right? Allows us to run more timing, which means more power, and allows us to run more boost, which is, once again, more power, right? It pretty much keeps you away from pre-ignition, basically where it ignites too early, right, during the combustion cycle. Usually contribute to timing and hot spots within the cylinder heads and whatnot. And also it keeps you away from detonating. Basically after the plug fires, you got a leftover amount of fuel that hasn't combusted, and it does a sporadic explosion with the air fuel mixture that's remaining, right? Pretty much both are bad, right? Both very serious issues. So to keep away from that, we run E85 for real horsepower applications, right? Now I didn't tell you guys, I did install a boost controller in this thing, so the boost will be getting turned up at some point, just FYI. Now another pro to running E85 is that yes, it does burn cleaner, right? However, it requires more volume, right? So that means your fuel system needs to be built for more volume. So for E85, typically you want to run, like, sure, you can run a TAC 6 hose, however TAC 8 plus is what you really want to run, because you need more volume to make more power. You need more gas, essentially, more E85, more gas. And also don't forget, your pump needs to be up to the job, right? You can't just throw E85 in and you got this little small pump in there. No, you need to be able to pump more volume as well. So luckily for us, we've already upgraded that. We have the Hellcat pump in there, so that's ready and good to go. And last but not least, along with having it tuned, don't forget the tune, you also want to make sure that your fuel injectors are up to the task as well. So right now in this bad boy, I have 72 pound injectors. So when I initially built this car, I wasn't necessarily thinking of E85 at the time, but now I am. So yes, at some point I will be upgrading the fuel injectors, probably to about 120 pound fuel injectors. See the difference there? Yeah, big difference. So make sure your fuel injectors are also up to the task. And that's really all I have for that. So let's start with this part right here. The flex fuel sensor, right? This flex fuel sensor here, I got off of Amazon. I'll be sure to put up something to show you guys. I got that for about 83 bucks. It's an AC Delco part, right? Get a lot of good reviews. It's actually has Continental on it, so should be a very good proven part. I see a lot of people using this in their E85 setups. Now we're gonna move over to this bad boy right here from Motion Raceworks, right? Let's go ahead and take this apart. So this piece actually has quite a few pieces to it. Take this off. Nice little review. Alright, so you got your little bracket right there, but the main bracket, this is your mounting bracket here, right? Allows you to mount it however you want it. You know, that's your mounting bracket. But this is the main piece here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. So I know this is like separate. You can get these separate, or you don't even have to order these at all, honestly. But it does not come with the initial piece. You have to add that on as extra. So if you take a look on the inside, it actually has, I'm not sure if you guys can see that, it actually has a very nice finish on the inside. Nothing crazy, no shards, nothing of the sort. Alright, so let's go ahead and pull it apart. Now when you pull this apart, you want to be a little careful. And you can see they already kind of lubricated it a little bit. They tell you in the instructions to make sure that you lubricate all your O-rings, alright? And I'm pretty sure they do that for a reason. People probably had an issue with it leaking and whatnot, so much so that they even supplied extra O-ring just in case you pinch this one. Pretty smart on Motion Raceworks part. Alright, so as you can see here, there's two holes in there, right? Two holes. And one hole goes through to the sensor here, right? And the other hole is just essentially like a bypass. At the end of the day, it doesn't have to meter all the fuel. It just needs to know that the fuel that's coming through, what the E85 content is, and basically make adjustments according to such, like, and send it to the ECU. Hey, ECU, this is how much E85 we got. E85, the ECU makes its changes, and yeah, we get more timing, increases boost, whatever you have it set up to do. So, very important component. Very easy setup, very nice finish all the way around. I'm gonna put this back together right here. Be careful when you put it together. Kind of like so. On to this, Jolt Systems. Okay, Jolt System provides this harness that works with our Terminator X Max systems, and probably even all the other ones, but I don't know because I don't have the Dominator series and HP series. I only have the Terminator X. So this slides in just like that, right? Easy day. I'm going to leave that right here. So if we look on this side right here, you'll notice it's got a couple plugs here, right? Now this goes to your, it has it labeled already. It says power tap receiver, which is pretty cool. If you are familiar with the Terminator X setup, there's a power tap on the actual harness itself, right? And this is already pre-made to just slide in and clip in. Easy day. And yeah, you got this clipped in, you got that clipped in. Now, this piece right here is your actual sensor. This is the one that sends the signal from the sensor to the ECU to tell how much E85 is in the actual fuel. Alright, that's what that's for. Now this is an extra piece that they also have. I won't be using this piece, right? And if you guys want more information, they also have installation and instructions. I actually looked at this and pulled it up, took a look at it, and it has a very good breakdown of, you know, the instructions. I mean, from beginning to end, how to install it, all the way to how to program it in your ECU. Mine is already set up for E85. It already has the tables and map and everything set up for it. All I got to do is just kind of turn it on and I'm good to go. So that's pretty much a breakdown. We're gonna go ahead and put this together, and yeah, we're gonna look for a mounting spot where we want to get this thing installed underneath. So just to give you guys a recap real quick, I went ahead and I found a spot where I want to mount my bracket. Come to find out, one of the best spots to mount this bracket for me is on my adjustable cross member. It has two holes that are already there. I'm like, hey, why not use it? I like to work smarter, not harder. So, and they lined up perfectly. Y'all, so check me out. I spared you guys the grief of having to watch me make these lines and do all this other crap that nobody really cares about, that you've probably seen a million times. As you can see in my last video, I went ahead and showed you guys how to make lines and whatnot, so hopefully you guys check that out. But if you check and look here, like I said, I used the adjustable cross member here, and I used the pre-existing holes already to basically mount my bracket there, and it actually fits like it was meant to be there. I mean, no real issues with that. Everything's tightened up. I need to go ahead and do a leak check on it before I start doing all my wiring and everything else, and I'll show you guys what I'm going to do with that here shortly. But I wanted to show you guys, in case you were wondering about this, by the way, hitting, this is adjustable. I can move this up and out of the way. I can move it down however I need to. That's not a problem. I went ahead and I cut the line, the TAC 8 hose, and I put a fitting there and a fitting there, right? So it comes out, but it also has a 45-degree that brings it right back into the frame rail where I want it to be. So overall, I mean, it's solid, man. It's not going anywhere. No issues. So yeah, let's go ahead and get a leak check, and then we'll move on to the wiring. I have now tailored my harness here to fit my application, right? Earlier I measured it, seeing how long I need the harness to be, and now I came back to the table here and I tailored the harness to, like I say, fit my application. All of this is excess. It's pretty long, man. If you're curious about ever buying one of these harnesses, man, they're probably about the length of your car. Probably go about maybe 5 feet overall with all of it together. So yeah, but I didn't need all of that. So anyways, here it is, much shorter, cleaner. Now if you see all the stuff around here, you know, I got my heat gun, solder and all that stuff. Now, yes, I did go ahead and I cut the wires and I soldered them. You know, if you know how to do it, you know how to solder, you know how to do it the right way, there's nothing wrong with soldering. After all, this is just, you know, it's E85. There's nothing that's like super serious that has to be perfect amount of ohms resistance and whatnot. So it will work. Nothing wrong with cutting and soldering wires. However, the proper way that I've done this was to depin this connector here, cut it, repin it, and you're on your way. You know, much easier, simpler process. However, when you do this, you need to make sure you have some extra pins, because these pins are no longer reusable once you cut the harness. I didn't have these pins, so I just went ahead and did what I could do I went ahead and I cut it, measured, cut it, and I soldered each wire, heat shrink each wire, and then I heat shrink the tubing itself. Hey man, ain't no shame in my game. It looks great. It's gonna do the job well. And here we go. Here, we went ahead and we connected the plug here to the flex fuel sensor. It routes around, goes up over the cross member, nice and clean, tucked. And here we have it right here. So I'm showing you guys what I did with my purple wire here. I went ahead and I put a weather pack connector on it. It's a 1-pin connector. And I also did the same for my input from my Holley Terminator setup. So both of those will go together just like so. And then I will plug this one right here into this one right here. I know it looks like a mess right now. Trust me, everything will get cleaned up in due time. Right now, we're just trying to get things going, everything in the perspective, and then we will tidy up and clean as time permits. But as of right now, I mean, nothing's snagging, everything's pretty loose. You know, it's just sitting on top of the transmission like most car harnesses. So for the most part, it's just like every other car. As far as my standard, you know, it works for now. But yeah, that's what I'm doing with these wires, and once we plug that up, we're pretty much done down here. All we gotta do is go into the laptop, go ahead and configure our 2D tables. If you own a Terminator setup and you know how to tune, you know what I'm talking about. And there's plenty of videos online that talks about that and goes in depth on how to set up your flex fuel setup. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and plug these up and yeah, get this thing on the ground. Went ahead and zip tied it up. Everything's plugged up, connected. Went around the underside. I know anytime I have to take this thing out, I'm gonna have to undo these wires, but it's really not that many. It's like 3. One is the E85, one is the turbine speed, which is not being used. It's just kind of hanging out up there. And then there's this harness for the, I think that's transmission. Actually, no, it's not. It's one of the other harnesses. But anyways, it's wrapped up in there real neat and nice, like, you know, everything's nice and loose. But as far as the E85 harness goes, it's in there, man. It's good to go. E85 sensor is in, no leaks. I mean, plugged up. I mean, it was pretty easy, especially considering, you know, I had these holes already pre-drilled here, so I didn't have to drill anything. And, you know, the fact that my fuel system was already configured, you know, for TAC 8 line. Now they do offer the sensor setup in TAC 6 and TAC 10. So if you need a smaller or bigger setup, they have them that fits your application. Also, say you don't have the AN hose setup, right? That's fine too if you just got rubber hose or regular fuel hose, I mean to say. There are fittings out there that will adapt, so you won't have to convert your whole fuel system to use this system here. So where there's a will, there's a way. And yeah, these are a great setup. Couldn't have been done any easier. I think I went with the right companies, and I'm glad I did it. So now that everything's done down here, let's lower the car down and go back up top. So for the E85 conversion, the other part that you need to keep in mind is you need to increase the injector size, right? Right now we got 72-pound injectors. I have brand new 120-pound injectors. I went with the Holley injectors. I have Holley injectors in here now. I don't have any issues with it, so I went with Holley injectors again. Give those a try. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't work, so we're gonna give them a try. We went up to 120 pound per hour, which should be enough to supply the volume for the added E85. So I have some E85. I actually went and picked up some the other day, and yeah, we should be running E85 here soon. My tune is already set up to use E85, and as you saw previously, I went ahead and installed the flex fuel sensor, and that's working correctly. So yeah, everything's going according to plan. And I also installed the MAC valve for the boost control. so we can turn up the boost, have the boost go up along with the E85 content. I tested the E85 that I have, and I have E80, so that's good to go. And yeah, let's keep it moving, keep it pushing. As you can see, I went ahead and changed this back out, changed it back to the 102. So yeah, hopefully that should get us a couple gains right there with more airflow. And yeah, let's get it done. We got everything tidied up, got the new injectors in for the added volume for E85. Now it's just a matter of going ahead and making sure your tune is compatible with the injectors. Now, I bought these injectors because I know Holley Terminator series will work with this style of injector because it's made by Holley and it's in the drop down menu within the software, which makes everything easy. It already knows the pulse widths and dwell times and everything there is for the injector that the software needs to know. So that's already in there. So I'm going to adjust the software and make it identify with the fuel injectors, and we'll fire it up and see what happens. 9 times out of 10, everything goes smooth. The learning of the software, the learning portion of the software should kick in and activate and start to repopulate the cells within the fuel table, and we'll have to drive it around to get it adapted and get it adjusted for the new injectors. So fingers crossed, and yeah, let's see what happens. Alright, so like I said, every time with this Holley software stuff, because I'm always learning something new every day, I am not a guru with this system. However, you know, I've dabbled and dabbled in this software for quite a few years now, whether it be Sniper or Terminator. I haven't messed with the Holley HP or Dominator, but for the most part, these softwares are the same. So yeah, let's keep it pushing. We're going to head over to our fuel area, and then we're going to head, actually not the fuel area, like I said, not a guru. ECU configuration, actually, got to disconnect first. Engine parameters, right? And then you're going to go to, let's see, actual system pressure is more like 55. I'm going to change that to 55, more like 55. And then we're going to change the fuel injectors, right? This is the most important fuel injector information. Right now we got the Holley Terminator 120 pound per hour, and as you can see down here, it's changed a few things, right? So all right, it's already got everything. Minimal injector opening time, it's got all that already put in there, so that should be good to go. Everything else should be fine. I'm gonna take a look. Make sure our field graph pretty much looks the same. Field graph, learn table, target air fuel ratios, all that stuff looks the same. So now we can go ahead and upload it, and then we'll save it as something else. So we're going to send to ECU, basically letting it know that there's new injectors installed. And this is saying you have made changes that require the ignition to be powered cycled for the change to update. So we gotta turn it off and turn it back on. No big deal. So come over here, wait a little bit. Listen for the prime. Make sure you we leak checked earlier, but we're gonna leak check again here shortly. But everything should be good to go. And now we are ready for to fire it up. Make sure everything works good. Alrighty, fingers crossed. Go ahead and lift this lift the garage up here. We're gonna go and fire it up. Just got back off the road from doing a test drive. I think we can say the Mac valve is working. I seen the boost a little bit higher than what I remember. We're going to verify the data logs just to make sure that this is working like it should. And other than that, man, fuel injectors work great. You honestly don't even notice a difference. You know, that means it's really dialed in. Once again, we'll take a look at the data logs just to verify, make sure everything is working like it should be. The learn table may or may not have any cells populated, but we'll check that as well, and we'll go from there. Hopefully no leaks. That's my biggest thing. I don't like leaks, man. But we'll see. So let's check out this log real quick. Alright, so here we're gonna go to data log, open data log. See, what was the RPM at that? So we got up to about 5,000 RPM before we let out. That one time, I think one time I stayed in it. Got a little swirly, but I stayed in it. Had that Had that posi traction really working back there. Got a little swirly, but we stayed in it. It shifted and it corrected everything. But about 5,500 RPM was the max. And yeah, everything looks good on here. So you're probably wondering, what's the next thing that we need to do from here? So I got the E85, got the fuel system, everything's checking out, car's running fine, as long as we have no leaks. The next step is to get this thing on a dyno and to actually activate the table that allows the timing and boost to adjust along with the E85 content. I personally like the idea of a dyno, even though it may or may not be necessary depending on who your tuner is. I get it, I'm not racing, but at the same time I like for my stuff to be right. So I want to get it on a dyno. Not knocking those that tune on the street, because I think there's room for that too. But when it comes to this, as far as E85, I want to make sure it's good to go. So without further ado, it's not going to be on this episode. It's probably going to be on a later episode. But trust me, you're going to get it, and we all going to see the numbers. Might be live time. I don't know yet. We'll see. But you guys are definitely going to get to see how much horsepower Wockesha makes. All right, y'all. Till next time.